Hello, everybody. Welcome back. There we go to another video. How did I forget that? It's not like I don't do this every single day. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. As always, leaving a comment, leaving another comment, trying to leave a third comment, leaving a like or subscribing helps out the channel immensely. Welcome back for another weird edition of crypto news, because the last 3 weeks only keep getting weirder and weirder. And without further ado, that was definitely an ado. Let's jump right into it. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Bitcoin reclaims 17,000. Yeah, I can't believe it. Wow, that's crazy. After stocks began to pump following the Powell speech in Washington, Bitcoin's price quickly pushed above $17,000 in major U.S. stock indices or indexes. Exploded higher. Can you guess why? It's what we've been talking about for the last couple of months. I was telling you it was definitely going to happen because one event cannot go on forever. Yeah, on the heels of some of the most dovish remarks by Fed Chair Jerome Powell in nearly a year, we've been trudging through the mud. It's actually poop, but we've been doing it for a year. The quote, "Don't fight the Fed," has never been more proven in recent months. As the hawkish tone, the head of the U.S. Central Bank has sent cryptocurrencies and equities into bear market territories. Bitcoin fell because of these people from 69,000 US dollars to 15,500 US dollars after the Fed revealed its plans to increase interest rates and tame the worst inflation that was caused by them in over 40 years. In a speech at Hutchins Center of Fiscal and Monetary Policy, Brookings Institution in Washington, D.C. That's a long name for a place. In Washington, D.C., Fed Chair Jerome Powell revealed the central bank would slow its aggressive rate hikes beginning as soon as December. Yeah, for those of you who have not been here for this long saga, one, I'm slightly envious of how little stress you have. Two, if you have been here, we've been talking about this for a while. They cannot raise interest rates forever. The entire idea has been that they would be raising interest rates in an effort to control the inflation that they caused. The idea being, if interest rates are higher, people are taking out less debt, people are getting less mortgages, people are getting less credit cards, people are less likely to try to take out free money, air quotes, as it was before, with the 0% interest rates, and therefore the economy would slow down. If the economy slowed down, then inflation would begin to fall. And we saw it go down by 0.3% just a couple of weeks ago in the U.S., so that was worth a year of destroying the world's economy. The Fed basically announced that they would be taking a softer tone when it came to interest rate rises. Previously, we saw that there would be 0.75%, and this is now indicative that the next one will be 0.5%, so half of 1% as opposed to 3/4. Why is this significant? Because the idea is, and has been for a while, that by the time we get to March, which is what we were discussing since around summertime, that interest rates would probably peak at around 5%. They will probably not be going any higher. Why is this amazing news? Because we have only seen the markets around the world crashing as the interest rates have gone higher. Every single time that we got an indication that they might not be raising them as much, we pumped by around 15 to 20%. So now on the actual news that they're going to be giving us less higher interest rate hikes, that's why the markets popped or pumped or pooped, whatever word you kind of want to throw inside there. They definitely didn't poop. The interesting part is that this came towards the end of the day for stocks. So they all began to skyrocket, and then basically the stock market closed. So we should logically be seeing more movements in prices as the US stock market begins to open up. Other stock markets around the world have already begun to move up in prices. It says first mover Asia. Bitcoin rises again on US Fed chair's moderate remarks, which is actually kind of sad. If you've been here for at least more than 5 years, the entire point of Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency market, before anyone sucks their teeth, the point of crypto in general is to move against world markets. If we see that world markets are tumbling because of their monetary policies, Bitcoin should be moving higher. In the inverse, if we see that the world markets are doing okay, Bitcoin, but so the long and short of it is that we are now completely tied with world markets, and Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market do not move unless the stock market moves, which is not what Satoshi wanted, but alas, here we are. Polygon surges by 12%, edging Bitcoin and Ethereum in the last 24 hours. I assume this is just the normal movement of Bitcoin up, Ether up, altcoins also go up. I hope that a lot of people haven't forgotten the partnerships that Polygon had and we were hearing about just 4 weeks ago. Remember the good old times 4 weeks ago when FTX simply wasn't a thing and everyone was really hyped off of Disney using Polygon and JP Morgan Chase using Polygon, and what was the other one? There was some other, Instagram, Facebook also using Polygon. So it makes sense. It's a great coin. It's a great chain. It has a lot of uses and is being used by a number of larger companies. So just, logically, it says Ethereum's price is gearing for a liftoff to $1,400. Key support is in place. It's still incredibly undervalued. We hit $4,400 before the issuance rate fell by 90%. It's still the most used chain. It hasn't had a 51% attack. It hasn't broken down. It hasn't slowed down. The last big drama that we had with Ethereum was in 2016? When Ethereum Classic came about. Oh, for those of you who missed the, I believe it was the last video, or even the one before that, I don't remember. Coinbase Wallet is ending support for XRP, Stellar Lumens, Ethereum Classic, and Bcash. So just as a reminder, if you have your coins on Coinbase Wallet, get them off because they are officially ending support for those coins, and that may it reminded me of it because of Ethereum Classic and Ethereum Classic losing support on that platform. It says Bitcoin price is mirroring previous bottom formations. This was said by a popular crypto analyst. Yep, we've gotten here. We finally gotten to the point. Remember I told you, and keep in mind, it's not that I'm psychic. It's not that I'm a know-it-all. It's just that I've been here for so long. In the very beginning, these things would have seemed almost mystical to me and be like, wow, how is that possible? We keep following the same charts and the same rotations and the same cycle over and over. And it's like, it's just so disgustingly predictable at this point. It's just kind of where we are. So the normal trend for something like this is, as we've been going over the last couple of days, bad news happens. Bad news scary. Bad news really scary. Bad news touching crypto industry. What's this? Prices are really low. Whales are buying. Whales keep buying as price keeps falling. And then we get to we've hit a bottom. Prices are at a bottom. Prices won't go any lower. Prices are at a bottom. Prices begin to move back up, and then everyone goes, wow, that's crazy how they predicted that. No, it just keeps happening over and over and over every single time. Once again, also don't forget that FTX is not the first event that we've had like this year. Has everyone forgotten about Terra Luna? Remember Terra Luna, how that was the worst thing to ever happen to crypto around springtime, and everyone panicked. And we kept on hearing about there was also a contagion and how this coin was dropping and how this stable coin was dropping and how Tether had lost its peg, how Tether was also going to collapse in the crypto. It keeps happening over and over and over. So this isn't really new news. It's just more cyclical. We are also, here we go. First of all, happy December, everyone. Yeah, the year flew by. This was one of the quickest years of my entire life, and I do not understand why it moved so quickly. Secondly, in just a couple of weeks, we will be entering 2023, which is right around the corner from the next Bitcoin halving, if you can believe it. Isn't that disgusting how fast time has moved? It is the weirdest thing in the entire world. It's almost 2023. I was talking to my friend. Hello, friend. We were like, the year doesn't sound real. I remember many moons ago thinking of the 2020s and being like, that's going to flying cars and robots walking around everywhere, and all we get is I was going to say a bunch of other crazy things, but all we get is FTX. So anyway, yeah, the price had bottomed before, just to make that abundantly clear. But the FTX thing made us completely collapse. Remember, hey guys, over here, sorry. Remember like 4 weeks ago, like literally 4 weeks ago, we were talking about a $25,000 Bitcoin because we had just gotten back to 22,000. And then we had like an avalanche of good news. And then somebody was like, nope, let me make sure that everyone suffers in misery at the exact same time. It says bear market length has now matched previous cycles. Is trend reversal imminent? Probably. No one knows for sure. Wink. But it's the same exact thing as all the other times. For those of you who don't know, Bitcoin's halving is every 4 years. And you should have known that part. At least the bare minimum being in the cryptocurrency space. The other interesting part is that 2 years after Bitcoin's halving has taken place is usually always the time for the trend reversal. So Bitcoin's price going down over the last 2 years wasn't some miraculous thing. It happens all the time. For some reason, I think it's all coordinated. This is just me tinfoil hatting here. Because the amount of negative news that we get on the 2 year basis is so like, oh, wow, again, that's crazy. I can't believe this actually happened. But over the course of the 2 years after the fall is usually when we end up moving back up in price. We end up usually moving back up to where we previously were before in Bitcoin's price about a year into the next cycle after the first 2 years. So meaning next year, logically, we should be at a $70,000 Bitcoin again sometime over the course of the year. I would expect spring and or summer simply because if we keep getting situations where we hear the Fed is not going to be increasing the interest rate by 0.75% and simply 0.5%, and the stock market moves up, we will move up as well. By the time we get to spring, if we hear, like they mentioned before, that'll be the last time that they raise interest rates, at least for a while and a half, we should be at a $30,000, $40,000 Bitcoin. Nothing crazy, nothing too spectacular. Simply, we should be all moving back up in tandem like we were before. However, it's usually the momentum in the news that we end up hearing that Bitcoin's next halving, it's on its way. You remember this, it's always 6 months before. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone won't stop. It's the biggest news in the entire world. By the time we get around there, we have matched Bitcoin's previous price. We know that the next year afterwards tends to be the grand finale. And that's where we always go to these brand new highs. That is previously before Bitcoin being at 1,200 or matching 1,200, then going to 2,000, 20,000. The one before that, it was a Bitcoin at, I think, 105, going to 1,200. You kind of get the idea. So this is where you remember even a couple of weeks ago, before the whole fiasco, and even during the fiasco, we had a lot of people talking about Bitcoin's price next summer and next spring. They have astronomical numbers. I won't say that we can't hit them, but it doesn't seem that likely. I don't think it seems as likely that Bitcoin's going to be going to a $250,000 by next April. Hold your horses there. I mean, I personally would love it. That would make a whole bunch of new millionaires in the cryptocurrency space, and a lot of people would sleep a lot easier. But alas, that's all something else. So we've gotten to this point. We have now entered it, where everyone, I think, is kind of under the same umbrella as to where they think prices are going to go. Unless we get another dramatical event and Changpeng Zhao tries to alert and warn everyone of the impending doom and everyone begins to sell off their coins for no exact reason. Also in the news, just in case you did sell any of your coins over the last couple of weeks because of the Sam Bankman-Fried thing, whales have been buying up your coins. Bitcoin whales have accumulated over $800 million worth of Bitcoin in just 5 days, as a selling trend for large investors is reversing. What? That's wild. It's almost like we've heard that one before, which could signal growing confidence in the market. It never left. The only people who were terrified were the people who were new to the market or who get scared very easily and who were following every single bit of news that had to do with Sam Bankman-Fried and other cryptocurrency YouTubers telling you to sell. Why were they telling you to sell? Because they're usually bad crypto YouTubers and have nothing else to really tell you. They try to terrify you in an attempt to, lower prices, maybe buy more themselves. They usually have a lot of money, so it seems advantageous for them that they would try to get you out of the market so that they could buy up at a cheaper price. Yeah, it's whale news. Remember I talked about that before as well. This is the same pattern. So keep this in mind as well. Get ready for this pattern in 2025 and 2026. No one here, none of you. I don't want to hear anyone is confused or surprised because it's always something over and over and over. So another 4 years after the 2 years have passed from the halving, we're going to get news like this once again, that there's accumulation going on. Why is there accumulation going on? Because the major players in the game, not even the banks and institutions, believe that Bitcoin at some point is going to hit $100,000. How do you profit from it going to $100,000? You buy when the price is at $15,000 and $16,000 and also $17,000. And even more so, just logically, you profit if you buy it at $99,000. That's just how numbers actually work. On top of that as well, if in case you missed it, the S&P 500 ends a 3-day losing streak. The Dow has jumped by 700 points after Powell has signaled for smaller rate hikes. Yeah, so it begins. I give it until, let's say February. That seems like a very good logical time to really see exactly where all the markets are. I'm trying not to hold my breath this month, as in we know that there's another rate hike happening. It's more so I want to hear them say 0.5%. I want to see it happen. I want to see how markets react. I want us to get to January. In January, without any debacles happening within the cryptocurrency space, things falling apart, people being terrorized or terrified for no generalized reason, and then by the time we get to middle February, we should be above a $25,000-$30,000 Bitcoin, and we should know very clearly where the world markets and the cryptocurrency markets are going to go. That's all the price news that we have for right now. Markets are up slightly. All markets are up. Waiting to see where the U.S. stock market opens and what happens over the course of the day with this newfound information that we now all have. And yeah, let's move on. In one of the most popular news stories of the day, and I still don't get why people are obsessed with this kind of news. According to a corporate blog post published on Wednesday, U.S.-based... Has anyone watched Wednesday yet on Netflix? It's kind of good. Watch the first episode. U.S.-based cryptocurrency exchange Kraken will let go of 30% of its worldwide employees, over 1,100 individuals, to adjust to current market solutions. Macroeconomic and geopolitical variables have affected the market's negative passage. According to Kraken's statement, the reductions leave the company's overall employees or employment at the same level as it was a year ago. Kraken's actions comes after the failure. It does no. This is no. Stop blaming FTX for everything. This has to do with the fact that a lot of people just did not prepare for this situation. A lot of people can assume that markets would continuously go up. That's why they hired another 1,100 people. This is not collapsing. They are not firing people because Sam Bankman-Fried did what he did. I don't understand. Oh, there's also more of that as well, just in case you were missing some. This is supposed to be terrifying you news. So one of the most popular news stories of the day is that Kraken is letting go over 1,100 people. Or is that the worldwide employees? I'm not sure. 30% of their workforce is getting the boot, and that's because they probably didn't save right, or maybe they just have very low volume and now they don't need as many people. So hopefully they get a severance. That would be nice, at least. Anyway, that's the Kraken news. Once again, I don't get why this is always so popular. We had news a couple of weeks ago that Coinbase was letting people go. What was the other one? I think Gemini was doing it as well. And then we had news that Twitter was letting people go because that entire thing is a dumpster fire if you haven't been paying attention to that. And everyone seems to like letting go news. I don't know why. I don't know what the news there is. All right, that's the Kraken news. Let's move on. Okay, here we go. In the most popular news story of the millennium, Sam Bankman-Fried was live on TV talking about everything that's been happening and all the other stuffs. It says it seems that Sam Bankman-Fried is continuously searching for ways to tell his story. Nope, everyone's just obsessed with it. Because here's the logical part right here. If you haven't been here before, and I'm going to keep saying that because it's very relevant to the world that we currently live in. These things in the cryptocurrency space happen all the time. This isn't the first time that this has happened. They're usually called rug pulls or people disappear. This one may be more, this one is more highly publicized. But we get collapses and scams and things like that all the time. However, 99% of the time, these people usually disappear. Like they go to a country that has no extradition laws or rules with other countries, and they literally just disappear. We never hear from them again. They never send out a post, a text. There's nothing with them online. They kind of exist in an entirely different world than everyone else. Everyone, I think, the word's not gets over. Everyone like mentally agrees, okay, we can't find them. Let's kind of move on to something else. This is what's happening with Do Kwon. Remember, everyone was so obsessed with Do Kwon, and everyone was like, okay, well, he disappeared. So this is the opposite of what Sam Bankman-Fried is doing. He's actually still in the public spotlight because he's trying to, because everyone's so obsessed with him. And he keeps trying to tell people what's going on, but every time it's the phrase in English is the lighter version is you're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't. If this man had disappeared, people would be calling for a manhunt and saying how he's so the lack of transparency is terrible, but the fact that he's telling everyone everything, he has no idea what he's doing. Telling everyone everything all the time. Now it's people being like, okay, Sam, like we get it, like blah blah, and it's like, oh, so what do you want from him? I told you all before. I told you this yesterday and I told you it the day before, and I'm going to keep telling you until the end of time. You don't know this man. You will never meet Sam Bankman-Fried. A large portion of you did not have money in FTX. You probably had friends and family members who did not have money in FTX. You probably heard the words FTX once or twice before. You had no exposure to FTX, nor to Alameda, nor to Solana. What's the obsession with this guy? Why is everyone so fascinated with this person who they will never meet? Like, think about it. Why is everyone going so crazy over him? Especially if you had, first of all, the cryptocurrency market was dropping already. What he did made it drop even further. What about the other 99% of things that happen over the course of the years? You're not mad or upset about those? Or is it just that this one's so in the spotlight right now that this is all you can kind of focus on? Think about that. Think about all the other stuff, all the other crazy stuff that happened and that collapsed over the course of this year. And no one's talking about it anymore. Not one word. Remember Celsius? Oh, yeah, people forgot about Celsius. Yeah, see, people forgot everything. I don't get it. It's a very weird obsession that so many older men right now in the crypto space have with Sam Bankman-Fried. It's kind of... Sam Bankman-Fried, a former crypto exchange FTX CEO and founder, appeared on the New York Times' Deal Book Summit and answered a wide range of questions regarding the collapse of FTX, essentially admitting that he screwed up. During the summit on the 30th of November, New York Times journalist Andrew Sorkin talked with Sam Bankman-Fried live via video conference. In the interview, among other things, the two men discussed how FTX and Alameda Research were intermingling customer funds, Sam Bankman-Fried's criminal liability, and misleading the public. At the beginning of the interview, when talking about the connection between FTX and Alameda Research, they wrote Sam Bankaman. Sorry, it looks funny. Sam Bankman-Fried noted that he unknowingly commingled funds. He said, I unknowingly commingled funds. I was frankly surprised by how big Alameda's position was, which points to another failure of oversight on my part and failure to appoint someone to be chiefly in charge of that. But I wasn't trying to commingle funds. A lot of people are upset that he said this because they want him to take full and complete responsibility. You know, he wasn't the only one working at FTX, right? You know, Alameda is a different company that was under FTX, but the reason it's a different company is because other people were running it. What I found fascinating through all of this, and this is just my opinion, is the obsession with Sam Bankman-Fried. You know, in a company that probably at least had, I'm going to say, 500 other employees, I assume Alameda had at least 100 to 200 employees and also had another CEO and was run by someone else. No one's pointing the finger at anyone, which listen, this man has admitted multiple times that he did what he did. Why is everyone so obsessed with him? I do not get it. By stating that the company commingled funds, Bankman-Fried refers to customer funds being deposited to FTX and loaned to Alameda Research. The former FTX CEO claims that he had no knowledge about such actions, and he wasn't running Alameda, which he wasn't. Wasn't it that chick who was running it? Excuse me for using the term chick. It's sorry, slipped out. But you understand what I'm saying? Wasn't there another person who was running it? Very, very weird. So once again, people are angry at simply everything. Everything this man said, everyone had a problem with. I was under the impression that a large number of people in crypto did not like the New York Times. So once again, here we go. You don't like the New York Times, and then you're surprised when they tell a story or give an interview that doesn't match with what you wanted to hear. If you knew they weren't going to give you what you wanted, why are you already angry if you knew that you were never going to get it? Like, imagine you hating something. Imagine you hating eating oranges. Oranges are delicious. If you don't like oranges, I just can't deal with you. Now, imagine you eat an orange, you don't like it, and you go, ugh, it's so gross. I hate oranges. You ate the orange knowing that it was going to taste disgusting. You listened to a New York Times interview expecting what? You don't like New York Times. Also in the news, Sam Bankman-Fried has claimed that FTX US, that is the US branch of FTX, is completely solvent and that they could open withdrawals today if they wanted to. What? That's crazy. I figured that out 3.5 weeks ago. Remember when I was telling you people were still able to take their money out of FTX and no one was complaining about it? I'm always on Twitter. I'm always looking around and seeing what people are talking about. It was constant Sam Bankman-Fried hate. Changpeng Zhao is next to God. And no one was like, oh, people can still take their money out of it, until he was told to file for bankruptcy. And then he filed for bankruptcy and the people could no longer take their money out. And then they have a new CEO of FTX. And also FTX US never mentioned being insolvent in the first place because the company wasn't insolvent. We got news last week that FTX, like the actual branch of FTX, still had around $1.6 billion like in their own fund. I don't think they were ever actually really insolvent. It's the same way, you know that. So here's a mind bender for everyone. You know that you can file for bankruptcy without actually being bankrupt. There are different levels of bankruptcy. You can. So let's say you have $75 million worth of assets. Like that's what you're worth, $75 million. And you have a company that is worth roughly around $25 million, but it's not looking too hot. You haven't been doing good for the next 5 years. Like everything looks absolutely terrible. You can file for bankruptcy under that company and not actually yourself. So it doesn't mean that you are broke. It means that the company that's under your name has filed for bankruptcy. Yeah, see, most people think when you file for bankruptcy, it means that you're broke. That's not what it means. You file for bankruptcy under like a certain thing that you are trying to get rid of or trying to liquidate or simply say that you can't pay for anymore. There was some other celebrity this was 2 or 3 years ago, some other celebrity filed for bankruptcy and people were like, oh, I can't believe he's broke now. And I was like, he's not broke. He's not even remotely broke. He filed for it because the company that he owns was completely collapsing and he couldn't afford it anymore. So he was trying to liquidate a bunch of its assets through the bankruptcy filing. He's still completely wealthy. Anyway, so yeah, apparently he has claimed that FTX US still has money, which shouldn't be surprising because we were talking about that before. How is everyone just getting all this news? Am I like Am I a time traveler? Like, why am I getting this? Oh no, sorry. It's logic. It's just logic. SBF unveils his journey from crypto. Poster child to indulge in fraud. Sure, why not? They basically talk about during the interview how he went from being the whiz kid of the cryptocurrency space, I think, because everybody wanted somebody to believe in, which is really weird that people keep doing that. People are always looking for a savior in life and in the cryptocurrency space instead of just like using their own mental capacity, and how everyone went to hating him, which was also a crazy thing. It says legal professionals are astonished as Sam Bankman-Fried admits failures and apologizes 12 times in the interview. Because backing it up, if he hadn't apologized, people would have hated him. If he had simply said, remember the other, there's so many of these people. There's so many of these people who stand on like a jury or are told to do something or go to like is the word disposition? I'm not sure. Deposition? That one sounds about right. Where they have to sit before Congress or the Senate or talk to someone or have like a television interview. Remember years ago when everybody like really hated Zuckerberg because everything he was doing was completely fraudulent, and he sat on stage. It was before Congress, I think. And they were asking him questions, and you remember all the memes and the jokes that he couldn't drink water properly like a human, and he's a lizard person. Remember all those jokes that everyone kept on saying over and over and over, and everyone completely forgot about all those things. Because remember how he wasn't answering any questions, and every single time that anyone sits on stage or a panel, they never actually admit to their wrongdoings. There was something oh my gosh, I'll never forget this. It was some banking guy. It was something about the collapse of a bank or something like that. This was years and years ago. And they're asking this man questions. Simple questions. Is the sky blue? And he goes, well, sometimes if you look from the angular position of where the earth currently is tilted, you might, it was really, his answers were so ridiculous. And they were trying to just simply say, were you involved with this bank? Well, I had a position on a chair that I received a number of years ago. However, I knew that the woman cleaning the kitchen while we ate dinner was also part of the bank as she had shares. It was so misconstrued. So Sam Bankman-Fried did it. We got it. Like, you can stick a pin in it. It's done. The complete saga has finished. We understand that he did it. The issue is that here we go. You're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. If this man had sat there and simply stated that he knew nothing, he wasn't sorry, he did nothing wrong, there'd be a witch hunt going on right now. However, on the opposite end, you're darned if you do, he apologized so many times that people were calling him a wuss. People were calling him a baby. People were saying he shouldn't have done that. The lawyers were like, he shouldn't have admitted anything. He should have kept that for later on because he might have gotten completely off if he had complete deniability. And it's like, well, then he's just a worse monster than every other monster who we've seen in the cryptocurrency space. I don't know what people want from this man. You know that other people worked for that company, right? You know he wasn't the mastermind behind all of this. I assume while running the company and buying tons of property and traveling around the world, he probably wasn't on the computer actually himself allocating the funds. Do you think that the head of Coinbase moves all the money around, or do you think it's the employees who work there? Do you think the Gemini twins are actively sitting behind a desk in California moving all the money around, that they're the ones clicking enter when you try to initiate a withdrawal from the crypto exchange? I don't understand people at all. So this was the majorest news story of the day. Everyone's afraid, sad, and angry or something like that at what he's doing and can't believe the extensional levels of fraud and how this could be possible. I can tell you very easily how it's possible in crypto because it keeps happening over and over. 98% of the people who run this joint don't care about crypto. They don't care about you. They care about themselves and making as much money as possible. We've gone over this before. Told you this hundreds of times. So we apparently know that Sam Bankman-Fried did it because he kept on saying sorry, and he was sorry for what happened and what he did and what he so-and-so'd. Cool. There's no more mystery anymore. Like we got all of it. That's all the, was it that people were confused as to if he did it? Was the mystery there because you didn't know if this man was the troublemaker? Cool. Case closed. I acted like I was closing a book. There was no book there. It was just my hand slamming down something that was not on the table. That's the Sam Bankman-Fried apologized 12 times during a New York Times live interview, and everyone hated it because they didn't get what they wanted from it. What? No, tell me. What more has to happen now? And you can't say people getting their money back because, that's what happens when it's a scam. People typically don't get their money back. Also, he was told to file for bankruptcy. So, yeah, that's, if it's taken this long for the Mt. Gox money to come back, just imagine for FTX. I would recommend, as always, that people out there pay attention to where you put your money, to who has your money. I mentioned this before. If you are terrified of this happening to you, buy a ledger. I have an affiliate link in the description below. That's not a joke. I've seen so many people talking about self-custody and how they're so afraid and how they're so this. Get a ledger. Have your cryptocurrencies on cold storage. Or even more so, do a 50-50 split. Have some on a crypto exchange and have some on a ledger. There are tons of different options. Because when something like this happens again and we have another crazy, dramatic, terrible, terrifying story and another DeFi platform, another Celsius happens, another crypto exchange, another rug pull has taken place, you can't be surprised because people keep trusting shady individuals in the space. And it's just, I thought years ago when those guys were writing on that chalkboard, buy equals making money. Remember that? Yeah, probably not. There was a crypto, and I use that term lightly. It was, I think, 2 or 3 guys who had YouTube videos where they were standing in front of very expensive cars, and the cars belonged to their dads. Not even joking. And they were writing on a board telling people to buy a certain coin. If you buy this coin, the price is going to pump. When the price pumps, you make extra money, and yada, yada, yada. It kept on going on. And people didn't realize that they were telling people to buy the coins that they owned, that they got into very cheaply. So the coins would pump because they bought huge amounts. Everyone else bought huge amounts. And when the price topped, the price collapsed. And they told everyone the next day, hope you guys all made, we totally called it. They were getting like 1 million views per video. What's the obsession? What is the obsession with following charlatans? I don't get it. Everyone loves snake oil. Everyone loves to be tricked and frauded in this space. So weird. That's the Sam Bankman-Fried news. Hope everyone got their fix because everyone, is obsessed with this man. Let's move on. Also in relatively popular news as well, Indonesia's central bank on Wednesday revealed a planned white paper for I love that they're making white papers now, for a digital rupee currency that will utilize blockchain technology as the country experiences a spike in digital transactions since 2020. For those of you who don't know, countries are getting a little afraid right now because of the adoption of crypto. And I know that sounds like, yeah, guys, we made it. No, it's more of a, during the collapse of our markets multiple times over the last couple of years, the normal idea is that if cryptocurrency prices are up, crypto evil. If cryptocurrency prices are down, crypto's no threat to the monetary system. Who actually cares about it? It's the same loop, the same cycle as we've all been seeing before. The issue, air quotes, happens to come from as the cryptocurrency prices have dropped. We've only gotten more adoption and more companies and the Fidelities and the BlackRocks moving into our space. So countries right now are actually on a bit of a rush to try and create their own central bank digital currency. Around 2 days ago, I don't have the news here, around 2 days ago, members of the European Central Bank made a statement. It was very cringy. Something along the lines of like Bitcoin won't be relevant in about 2 years because the digital euro will drop and people will be using that instead of Bitcoin. Them completely not understanding the point of Bitcoin, of crypto. And once again, just in case you all missed it, and tell your friends this, because I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with meeting people. I meet a new person twice, thrice a week. I don't know. Every time I meet up with friends, they have a new friend there. When they find out what I do, they always ask, "Oh, that's wild." It's usually one of two things. How can I make money from it? Because they always want to know how to make money from thin air, as if I'm like, well, if you buy this coin and you put $1 and you'll make $9 million. People always want that kind of information. But the other thing is, oh, my brother was into crypto, but he heard about a digital euro, or he heard about a digital rupee, or the US digital dollar is coming, and they don't understand that they're not the same thing. They think that these are just mimics of each other. Yada yada yada. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your loved ones. These are digital versions of the crappy paper currencies that we already have right now. These are not anything new. They will be on a blockchain. Yes, the word blockchain is there, but they're doing that because they want to be able to track your transactions. Part of the problems that governments have right now is that the transactions are happening kind of everywhere. They're happening across the scope of many different apps, many different websites, many different payment methods, excluding cryptocurrencies. And at the end of the year, you're supposed to give them a detailed report of every single time that you moved or touched money anywhere. It doesn't matter the app, doesn't matter what you did, doesn't matter what you sold. They want all of that information. However, with a blockchain, all the information is right there. There's an address that's tied to your name. All the transactions that you do on any futuristic platform will be happening on those places. So there will be no ambiguity or confusion as to what you bought, what you sold, what you have. They will know everything about you, everything you bought, everything you sent, everything. That's the only real difference, kind of. But it's still going to be inflationary. It's still going to have the same terrible economic policies as it did before. These are digital versions of the pieces of paper that we have right now. So the news is that Indonesia is ready to launch their digital currency. We have already had a number of countries who have already launched their digital currencies and no one's using them. Don't forget that, because they're garbage. And also, you need the infrastructure for people to be able to use these things. These countries assume that we are into crypto because we want digital currency. I'm going to repeat that once again. The news that we got and have been getting for the last couple of years, if you read deep into like the actual articles, the countries believe that the popularity of Bitcoin and Ethereum, etc., comes from the public's desire to use digital means of payment. They think that we have evolved, or we have grown tired of paper currency, and therefore we're moving to a more digital way of paying. This is why they're creating them. They're launching them and telling people to use them without understanding that people can already just tap their card. That is also a digital form of payment. We don't need a central bank digital currency or representation of fiat currencies to be digital to use it. People already don't want to use that because they keep on inflating. So, yeah, that's the Indonesian news. Wow, I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see how many people don't use it. Woo, yeah. All right. Let's move on. And also, incredibly popular news, Ripple versus SEC. Parties have begun to file their replies to oppositions to motions for summary judgment. The long and short of it is, Ripple is filing for the judgment of the court case to come to an end. Like, give us the judgment, judge. We have received and have seen and have given enough information for you to make a judgment. The SEC, however, have begun to file oppositions to the motions for summary judgment, basically meaning they don't want the lawsuit to end. They're trying to extend it for as long as possible, and we can only hope that the judge will simply deny the motion for the opposition and simply say, I have enough information, here is my judgment. We have seen over the last 2 months, I think there are now 11 companies in the cryptocurrency space who have sided with Ripple, Coinbase also being one of them, which is the weirdest thing in the entire world. Basically standing on the side of Ripple, saying that the SEC is wrong. I assume this is because, here's the logical, I don't know any more than this. I assume this is because they have also read through the paperwork and what has been given and what has been delivered during the court case, and the general idea is that Ripple is going to win this court case. We've seen any type of good news has pumped the price of XRP. If the SEC wins this, there is no justice anywhere, like nowhere on the planet, because this is one of the most obvious corrupt court cases in the history of ever. The SEC should be disbanded, and that's all that I'm pretty much going to say about this, because they're so desperate to try and control something as opposed to just giving normal cryptocurrency regulations. I guess the SEC is maybe going bankrupt because they get more money from people doing things wrong, air quotes, for 3 years in a row and then being sued by the SEC as opposed to... Anyway, so yeah, very popular news. Only have one tab here, but anytime anything Ripple versus SEC comes up, it's always quite major. Let's see where this takes us. Good luck to Ripple. If once again, you might not like Ripple, you might not like XRP. However, if they win in this court case, the SEC has no more precedence for any other case. Every other company, every other cryptocurrency will simply match exactly what Ripple did, or exactly how decentralized, how many nodes XRP has, and you can't come to them anymore. So that's the Ripple versus SEC XRP ABC 123 news. Yeah. Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Martin Steuer, Bodie McBoatface, Sam Ratter, Dotha Diddy, Manny Cryptos, Crypto Gambino, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad. And let's move on. Empire Queen, Roman Gaba, Bitcoin Ben Arachno, Dave the Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way, Lay, Mo Barazi, VB Nerd 21, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Pat Ternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Nostromo John Sarson, The Animal Reader, at Bibliophobia, Adam Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Setsuna, Paxis, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Yes to Crypto, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Machonisa, and On Crypto with Lionel. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to all the new Patreon members. Thank you to everyone who has left a like, a comment, comments, or has subscribed. What is everyone buying now? There's so many things. It's the beginning of the month. I usually buy weekly. I don't buy every 2 weeks. I kind of buy whenever, I try to space it out, at the beginning of a week, or rather the first of the month, what have you. When I'm buying stuff, there's a lot of stuff that I'm really looking forward to buying. A lot of coins, a lot of stuff on Vivi. Everything just looks so cheap. It's very, very weird to see these prices right now. At the moment, Bitcoin is up by 1.3%. You can see exactly when we got the good news. There's the spike right there. It's going sideways, basically because the stock market is closed. Isn't that sad? Bitcoin doesn't move by itself anymore. It simply does not. It moves whenever the stock market also goes up. Ethereum is up by 1.3% as well. There's the movement up right there. Everything else is kind of, what have you. Matic Polygon is up by 5.6 percentile points. Solana's up by 1.3. Wrapped Bitcoin is up by 1.4. Wrapped Bitcoin is up by 1. Good job. Very good job. Leo said Unis Leo is up by 2. Monero's up by 1.8. Anything crazy? Nope. Just waiting once again for the stock market. That's very, very sad. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.